Come back and do a fight, work a fight in the corner, commentate a fight, and fight myself.
Roy Jones Jr. is widely regarded as one of the most naturally gifted fighters in boxing history. His speed, reflexes, unorthodox style, and confidence allowed him to dominate multiple weight classes in ways few fighters ever have.
You can tell he's getting more comfortable. Speaking of Roy Jones, right hand from the hop lands.
Because of that, when Roy Jones Jr. speaks about boxing greatness, fans listen closely. His list of favorite boxers is not about hype or popularity. It's about talent, creativity, fearlessness, and fighters who changed the sport. These are the boxers Roy Jones Jr. has consistently praised and admired throughout his career. 1. Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. has never been shy about acknowledging his own greatness, and in his mind, that honesty is part of what made him special. At his peak, Jones believed no fighter in the world could deal with his speed, reflexes, and unorthodox creativity.
Because that's when I stepped on the scene and beat the man who was the man. You know what I say? In order to be the man, you got to beat the man. James Toney was the man.
He fought with his hands down, relied on lightning-fast reactions, and broke every traditional boxing rule, yet still dominated elite opposition. Jones didn't just win fights, he confused opponents, embarrassed champions, and made world-class fighters look ordinary. What Roy admired most about himself was his ability to think faster than anyone else in the ring. His confidence wasn't arrogance. It was built on preparation, instincts, and countless hours in the gym. Jones moved up multiple weight classes, capturing titles while barely being touched. Even today, Roy views his prime years as something boxing may never see again. To him, greatness means redefining what's possible, and he believes he did exactly that. 2. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Roy Jones Jr. has repeatedly praised Floyd Mayweather Jr. for his discipline and boxing intelligence. What impressed Roy most was Floyd's consistency. Year after year, fight after fight, Mayweather performed at an elite level without decline.
Same night, both
Absolutely, easy. You got two fake fighters. Fake fight, I'm a real fighter.
Roy admired Floyd's defensive mastery, especially his ability to read opponents and neutralize their strengths before they could become dangerous. Floyd didn't rely on power, he relied on timing, positioning, and control. Jones respected how Mayweather studied opponents obsessively, treating boxing like a chess match rather than a brawl. Under pressure, Floyd remained calm, never abandoning his strategy.
Jab by Mayweather's pretty sneaky in there.
Mayweather is so quick, so quick.
Roy also admired Floyd's professionalism outside the ring, noting how preparation and focus allowed him to avoid unnecessary punishment. To Roy Jones Jr., Mayweather proved that intelligence, discipline, and patience could dominate even the most dangerous fighters. 3. Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson stands as one of Roy Jones Jr.'s greatest inspirations. Roy admired Robinson's complete skill set: speed, power, footwork, balance, and ring intelligence. Robinson could box beautifully or fight aggressively depending on the situation, something Roy deeply respected.
I think my last fight was 1965 when I lost the last fight I had.
What set Robinson apart in Roy's eyes was his adaptability. No matter the opponent or circumstances, Robinson found a way to win. Roy often pointed out that Robinson fought top competition constantly, yet still managed to dominate. His confidence, creativity, and ability to finish fights impressed Roy greatly. Robinson wasn't just talented, he was fearless. To Roy Jones Jr., Sugar Ray Robinson represented boxing perfection, a fighter who could succeed in any era and against any style. 4. Muhammad Ali.
Be the next champ as soon as I retire. Well, I know he can do it. Yeah. I couldn't hurt him.
Muhammad Ali earned Roy Jones Jr.'s admiration for changing the very idea of what a heavyweight could be. Roy respected Ali's speed, footwork, and reflexes, traits rarely seen in fighters of Ali's size. Beyond physical gifts, Roy admired Ali's mental strength and confidence.
Strand. Here's a left to the body by Clay. Williams keeps moving in, takes a left thrown by Clay and a slap by Clay.
Ali controlled fights psychologically, breaking opponents with words and presence before punches were thrown. Roy believed Ali's ability to adapt under pressure, especially later in his career, showed true greatness. Even when Ali slowed down, his heart, courage, and intelligence carried him through. To Roy Jones Jr., Ali wasn't just a champion. He was a revolutionary who proved boxing could be art. 5. Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler represented discipline, toughness, and professionalism to Roy Jones Jr. Roy admired Hagler's relentless work ethic and serious approach to boxing.
I was right behind him woofing off. I had some medicine ready for him.
Hagler never sought fame or comfort, he sought victory. His ability to apply constant pressure while maintaining technical control impressed Roy deeply. Hagler could switch stances effortlessly, confusing opponents while staying aggressive. Roy respected Hagler's mental toughness, especially his ability to stay focused during long, brutal fights. Hagler's refusal to be distracted by outside noise made him a true warrior in Roy's eyes. To Roy Jones Jr., Hagler showed that greatness is built through sacrifice and discipline. 6. Sugar Ray Leonard. Roy Jones Jr. admired Sugar Ray Leonard for his adaptability and courage. Leonard could outbox opponents with speed and movement, or stand his ground and fight when necessary. Roy respected Leonard's willingness to take risks in the biggest moments, never shying away from elite competition. Leonard's timing, intelligence, and confidence under pressure made him special.
You can't.
You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. You got to be composed and just place the shots.
Roy often pointed out Leonard's ability to rise to the occasion, delivering his best performances when the stakes were highest. To Roy Jones Jr., Leonard embodied versatility and fearlessness. 7. Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker earned Roy Jones Jr.'s admiration as one of the greatest defensive fighters ever. Roy admired Whitaker's footwork, balance, and ability to make opponents miss by inches. Whitaker's defense wasn't passive. It frustrated opponents and created openings for sharp counters. Roy respected Whitaker's calmness under pressure and his ability to control the pace of fights. To Roy Jones Jr., Whitaker proved that defense could be just as dominant and exciting as offense when executed at the highest level. 8. Mike Tyson. Roy Jones Jr. has always spoken about Mike Tyson with a mixture of respect and fascination, especially when discussing Tyson at his absolute peak. What impressed Roy most was not just Tyson's knockout power, but the terrifying speed with which that power was delivered.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one.
Tyson closed distance faster than almost any heavyweight in history, slipping punches with subtle head movement and exploding with short hooks and uppercuts that ended fights instantly. Roy admired how Tyson combined aggression with precision, something very few pressure fighters ever achieve. To Roy, Tyson wasn't wild, he was controlled chaos.
Bitch, come on, you bitch. You're scared coward. You're not man enough to f with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch.
Tyson's ability to intimidate opponents before the opening bell also stood out. Roy believed many fighters were mentally defeated simply by standing across from Tyson. Beyond physical gifts, Roy respected the discipline Tyson showed early in his career under Cus D'Amato, when his focus and structure were flawless. Roy often pointed out that Tyson, when mentally locked in, represented one of the most dangerous forces boxing has ever seen. To Roy Jones Jr., prime Tyson wasn't just dominant, he was inevitable. 9. Bernard Hopkins. Despite their long and complicated rivalry, Roy Jones Jr. has repeatedly acknowledged Bernard Hopkins as one of the smartest and most disciplined fighters in boxing history. What Roy admired most was Hopkins' ability to evolve. As his athleticism declined with age, Hopkins relied more on strategy, positioning, and mental toughness.
Like a great basketball player, Michael Jordan, would tell her.
Roy respected Hopkins' obsession with conditioning and preparation, noting that few fighters ever treated boxing with that level of seriousness.
What was Hopkins' foul?
And once again, Hopkins comes out charging.
Hopkins knew how to control pace, disrupt rhythm, and frustrate opponents without relying on speed or power. Roy also admired Hopkins' resilience. Hopkins endured early career setbacks yet rebuilt himself into a long-reigning champion. To Roy Jones Jr., Hopkins proved that longevity in boxing isn't accidental. It's earned through sacrifice and intelligence. Even though they were rivals, Roy has openly said that Hopkins' career forced him to respect the grind and discipline required to stay elite for decades. 10. James Toney. James Toney earned Roy Jones Jr.'s respect for his defensive brilliance and ring intelligence. Roy admired Toney's ability to fight comfortably on the inside while slipping punches effortlessly. Toney stayed calm in chaos, using timing and counters rather than speed. Roy respected Toney's confidence and composure against elite opponents.
I think Pechanga is one of the first class hotels in the world, man. I love coming here.
To Roy Jones Jr., Toney represented old-school boxing skill, relaxed, intelligent, and dangerous at all times. Roy Jones Jr.'s list of favorite boxers reflects his own mindset: fearless, creative, and rooted in mastery of the craft. These fighters didn't just win titles, they changed how boxing was fought. When one of the most gifted fighters in history gives respect, it means something.